National Bank of Botswana records 1 billion pula profit despite economic pressures. Botswana Vaccine Institute sensitizes media on foot and mouth disease awareness. Oodi Matebeleng Road reopens following flood disruptions. And African nationals among 58 injured in Iranian strikes on United Arab Emirates. This is Lesedi Television News. I am Thabang Metsimabe. Welcome. The Botswana Vaccine Institute conducted a media training workshop recently aimed at strengthening reporting on foot and mouth disease. The workshop sought to equip journalists with accurate information on the disease, its impact and prevention, highlighting the media's role in supporting national response efforts and raising public awareness. The participants also toured the Institute's facilities to gain insight into vaccine production processes. During the workshop, Botswana Vaccine Institute announced its ambition to become Africa's leading antigen bank. Meanwhile, the institute has supplied 3.8 million doses of foot and mouth disease vaccine in the 2025-2026 financial year. South Africa received the largest share at 1.6 million doses, followed by Zambia with 1.3 million. Other recipients include Zimbabwe, Eswatini, Mozambique and Botswana. First National Bank of Botswana has reported a profit before tax of 1 billion pula for the second half of the year, demonstrating resilience despite economic headwinds. Amgalantau with details.
The bank's net interest income rose 15%, supported by a 4% growth in advances and a 100 basis point increase in the prime lending rate. However, funding pressures intensified with interest expenses surging 110% as term deposit rates climbed to 10%, up from 4% last year. As a result, net interest margins declined significantly. Total income increased by 6%, driven largely by a 47% jump in non-interest revenue to 1 billion pula, reflecting a strategic shift to diversify earnings. Despite the challenging environment, management says the 1 billion pula profit underscores strong financial stewardship and a commitment to protecting shareholder value. Reporting for Lesedi Television, I am Amgalantau.
The road between Oodi and Matebeleng villages has been reopened for public use following earlier flooding caused by the overflowing Notwane River. Authorities had temporarily closed the road as a precaution.
Earlier today, Notwane River overflowed following heavy rainfalls, flooding the road between Oodi and Matebeleng and disrupting traffic. However, water levels have since subsided and the road has now been cleared and reopened to motorists. While traffic has resumed, drivers are still being urged to exercise caution, especially as more rain is expected in the coming days. Amgalantau, Lesedi Television News, Oodi Matebeleng.
Botswana's creative industry is set for transformation. Leadership outlined the plans to professionalize, commercialize and grow sustainable income for local creatives at the National Arts Council of Botswana briefing in Gaborone recently. Amgalantau was there.
The NACB has faced governance and funding challenges in recent years, but new leadership is promising clarity, accountability and a focus on legacy.
Our mandate is rooted in the NACB Act. We will adhere to the statute with a Moses-like conviction. The law protects the artist and the taxpayer alike. We will be a board of order, governance, and strict adherence to the frameworks of onboarding and the DAO, or Decentralized Autonomous Organizations, principles, ensuring that power is not hoarded but distributed through systems. Second, the philosophy of David. David was an artist, a harpist, but he was also a giant slayer. We recognize that our Botswana creatives are Davids. You are small in number compared to the global giants, but you are lethal in your talent. The NACB's job is to give you the sling, the infrastructure, the intellectual property protection, and the market access.
The Council plans to establish an arts fund, professional registration of creatives, and partnerships with local authorities to create workspaces and festival platforms.
And the board approved 2 very major initiatives. They would like us at the Arts Council to register an arts fund. So they want us to register a fund in which the modalities and the details will be shared with you as we come closer to launch. But essentially what they're asking us to do is to establish this pot of funds where creatives can contribute, where as the Arts Council we can go and fundraise, where we will take this money and invest it either on the Botswana Stock Exchange or in other private companies or offshore, so that we can grow this fund. So this is the fund that the money that Chair was referring to earlier to say we need to move away from grants, because grants grants do not build sustainable businesses. You get a grant, you go away, you spend it, next year you come back here. We would like to move away from that practice and that thinking. We want to be able to build sustainable businesses where people, creatives can access money, from this fund. And for us to be able to get something back, from the investment that we would have made from them.
Programs like National Arts Festival and African Cultural Grants have already created jobs, empowered artists, and generated revenue, showing the sector's potential to contribute meaningfully to Botswana's economy. Amogelang Tau, Lesedi Television News, Gaborone.
The National Arts Council of Botswana says it will continue engaging stakeholders and the public to ensure Botswana's creative industry becomes professional, profitable and globally competitive. Abu Dhabi's Ministry of Defense has confirmed that African nationals are among 58 injured during the Iranian missile strike attack over the weekend in United Arab Emirates.
3 foreign nationals from Pakistan, Nepal, and Bangladesh were killed in a weekend attack, with 58 others injured, including citizens from Africa and Asia. The UAE strike is a product of retaliation of Iran against the US-Israeli strikes targeting their bases against the region. Meanwhile, air travel has been thrown into chaos, with Dubai, Doha, and Abu Dhabi closing key routes. Thousands of travelers remain stranded as airlines and governments monitor the escalating conflict and wait for skies to reopen.
6 people are confirmed dead after a shaft collapse at the Rubaya-Colton Mile in rebel-controlled eastern DRC, leaving others injured and sparking urgent rescue efforts.
6 people were killed on Tuesday when a shaft collapsed at the Rubaya-Colton mine in eastern DRC. Witnesses say 3 women and 3 men died, while others seriously injured at the Gazasa quarry. Families rushed to the site seeking news, as this marks the second deadly incident in weeks. 200 miners were buried in a landslide in January. Thousands continue to work in dangerous conditions at Rubaya, which produces up to 30% of the world's coltan. Controlled by M23 rebels since 2024, the mine fuels conflict as fighting intensifies in the region.
And now let's take a look at the weather forecast as provided by the Meteorological Services. And with that, we come to the end of our news bulletin. I am Thabang Metsimabe.